Hi everyone, it is December 22nd, 2014. Okay, this is an article in Veterans Today, and I'm going to read it in full. It's long. It's a long article, but I'm reading it for those who have difficulty reading off the computer screen. Because you know what? Well, I can't verify some of the things in this article. It's kind of inspiring. It gives a little bit of hope, and I really do think we need it. I know I need it. And I just read the entire article. And every now and then I thought to myself, wouldn't it be incredible if this were actually taking place? Now, I don't know if it is taking place. I do think that a whole lot of people are waking up. I do think that a whole lot of people in high places, in power positions, are waking up. And I think that there are generals who have been fired that got together and are working to try to take down this criminal government that we have. And some of the things that I'm going to read are very hard to hear, very hard to comprehend. The evil that is taking place with this criminal cabal that we have in our government is so unimaginable. But unfortunately, based on all of my research, I can say that a lot of what I'm reading is actually, I have verified it. And it's just even 2 years ago, I would have listened to some of this and thought to myself, it can't be. It cannot be. And I am not somebody who was ever a Pollyanna. I never had rose-colored glasses. I have been kind of, for whatever reason, firmly based in reality, and I saw the evil even as a child. I knew evil existed, but frankly, I just never knew the kind of evil that I am seeing today. So, for all of those who just want to read the article, the link is below. You can click on it. You're welcome to not even, watch this video or listen to the read. But I do hope that a lot of you also just feel a little bit inspired by this. So, very, very bad things. That's the title of the article. Intel Cowboys all over the world are getting clued in to how they have been used, to be later disposed of by the organized crime cabal, and are now taking action to reverse this. Wouldn't it be cool? Okay, so this article is written for trained Intel professionals, government officials, and senior law enforcement who honor their oaths of office and want to do their job expected of them by we the people and the citizens of the world. This article is a walk down the dark side, which will expose a certain large, very wealthy, and powerful organized crime cabal that has paid many billions of dollars and gone to extreme measures to prevent you from ever learning about this subject or its specific details, or how to stop their unimaginably evil crimes, many of which are against little children who have previously had no help from anyone and no rescuers. It is realized that much of the general public at large will not be able to handle this information or believe it without someone they respect detailing it in simple terms they can understand and confirming it. Senior law enforcement and Intel have the skills to research this subject if they do not already know the basics about its occurrence and sophisticated cover-up. Veterans Today will continue to present this type of information, which every human being has a right to know, and keep you up to speed on developments in what has now become a worldwide battle to defeat this crime cabal. So stay tuned. We must all work together and set aside differences between our nations and cultures and pull together to defeat this parasitic monster of darkness and evil. And, look, it's the holidays, okay? I think we need to just kind of feel a little bit uplifted. But I also want to, before I get into the meat of the article, I just want to say I know that a whole lot of people have a lot to say about Veterans Today and Stu Webb and Gordon Duff. Give me the evidence and I will consider it. Until you can do that, I'm still I'm still considering them to be on the good side of the fight. Okay. Yes, the top policymakers who run America do very, very bad things, incredibly bad things, to stay in power and protect their massive organized crime cabal, which has worldwide reach and is empowered by the crooked City of London fiat bankster system. These top policymakers can issue, print, or steal all the money they need to bribe, run pedophile, and human compromise ops, as well as blackmail ops, and even pay large amounts of money to have dissidents or politicians murdered who they think have become significant threats to their system, or to make an example to scare others who might stray into compliance. In order to advance this massive organized crime cabal that hijacked America in 1913, one must be able and willing to become incredibly two-faced. That is, they must have a friendly outside moral appearance, but at the same time, they must develop the ability to hide a hideous and incredibly evil nature inside, and to be willing to learn to enjoy raping, drugged, kidnapped, and or mind-controlled children, and participating in some of the most savage and evil murders of young children or infants imaginable, to become a major policymaker at the highest levels in the cabal. These top policymakers realize that if their most evil ritual ceremonies of debauchery, pedophilia, and child sacrifice were fully exposed to the public masses, they would quickly be attacked from all sides, and their whole evil organized crime cabal would be brought down upon their heads. Yes, their total exposure of what they can do and will result in the complete loss of their evil power, and their much deserved judgment is coming from these evil acts they commit, which are so evil they are unimaginable to most people. No major network news in America would ever dare to try and run this story. Many alternative internet websites who claim to be truth-oriented but are little more than limited hangout with a bad payload stooge operations would also avoid this story and its content like the plague. But you can assume that most websites that would carry this story are on the right track. Any editor who allowed the story on the nightly news and the journalist talking head who delivered it would both suffer immediate and noticeably severe sanctions. They would be immediately separated from their position and in some cases executed by a crack FBI, CIA, or Mossad wet boy team within hours or days. This is the way it always has been since the City of London private world Zionist bankster money changers took power in America in 1913. But now this is all being brought to a screeching halt as the whole world's intel cowboys gang up against them with some of the most sophisticated psyops, and massive rear guard populist action imaginable. The bankster money changers who provide the horsepower and central control nexus for this worldwide organized crime cabal are now losing power by the day, along with their whole organized crime cabal too. In the last several years, the banksters' incredible power has been waning, and they are now hanging on for dear life, under attack from all sides, from various groups all over the world who simply have had enough of their massive asset stripping of all our wealth and hard-earned fruits of our labor. Believe it or not, here is what is now happening. Senior retired intel. No high-level intel insider ever fully retires. But senior retired intel are known to each other as intel cowboys because of their incredible skills in taking down targeted regimes and ability to go in and out of borders at will, often under diplomatic credentials, many times under identities which they can easily construct. Intel cowboys all over the world are now getting clued in to how they have been used, suckered, and to be later set aside or disposed of by the organized crime cabal, and are now taking action to reverse this. Intel cowboys are the elite of the elite in Intel. In past years, they usually worked quietly in the background to attain their objectives. Many of these incredibly skilled, astute individuals thought they were serving their nations by supporting what they have now come to understand to be an organized crime cabal that has hijacked many nations of the world, especially England, America, Israel, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey, and many Balkan nations. Many have also found out that this organized crime cabal was initially created by a very interesting association that developed between the Babylonian Talmudic banksters and the satanic cult network emerging from John Dee and Aleister Crowley, which evolved into the process cult in America, and now the Denver Circle of 12, the bloodthirsty ones, aka the disciples of Satan, or the Illuminati, as they prefer to call themselves. It is now known that this large worldwide organized crime cabal that used pedophile and other sophisticated human compromise operations to entrap politicians and government officials is part of a much larger worldwide organized crime cabal run out of the City of London using Israel Intel and the former Nazi Intel system. They became joined at the hip because they were both started and run by the world Zionist Rothschild City of London private central banksters and are now their main action agents. Now for the very dark, evil information, which is very difficult to consider because it cries out for direct, immediate corrective action. That's if people can believe it. There's a whole lot of people that just will not believe that evil even exists. But what information comes next will be incredible to most, but it will be presented anyway, and its source is top intel insiders, some newspaper articles, and various secret intel and law enforcement reports leaked by investigators who could not allow such evil acts to be hidden any longer. A strategic pivot has occurred among top intel cowboys all around the world. Yes, they still are careful to protect their own nation's important defense secrets and systems, but they have joined a working relationship with numerous other top intel cowboys from around the world, even with nations considered to be enemies. In practical terms, this means intel cowboys from many nations, even some Israeli intel who can't stand the pedophile ops of the organized crime cabal anymore, and some intel from the Russian Republic with President Putin's apparent support. Intel cowboys all over the world are now connecting the dots and forming working relationships. As incredible as this seems, Intel cowboys all over the world are connecting the dots and forming working relationships dedicated to bringing the organized crime cabal down by blocking its support base and destroying its ability to use national security and secrecy to conceal its crimes against society and children. Crimes that are so evil, they are unimaginable to most and can no longer be tolerated in any form. It is important to understand that a strange common brotherhood or camaraderie has now developed among intel cowboys from different countries all over the world. Intel cowboys in general have become tired of these needless, destructive wars for profit and all the human mass, death, and suffering it creates merely to fatten the banksters and the defense contractors' bank accounts, which are usually offshore in the Cayman Islands or someplace like that, where their paid off politicians and corrupt judges keep what is called set aside allocations. Yes, they have connected dots, and many intel are unwilling to be used and abused anymore, or to kill or abuse their intel brothers from other nations anymore.